Hello everyone, this is a video that I'm going to try to do showing off my plans for my 2012 garden. Since it's such a large garden, I can't take a literally picture of it or draw it out on a whiteboard. It wouldn't make any sense. So hopefully doing it this way makes a little more sense. Anyway, this is my garden laid out so far. Some of you have known about this program I use called the Garden Planner. Basically it lays out everything exactly where you want it, names things, etc. So anyway, let's get started. First, on the right here, you see, hopefully you can follow my cursor. On the right hand side there's 1, 2, 3, there's 7 rows of gray. The first 5 on the left are my strawberries. I have 500 plants. I'm not exactly sure yet where those are going to go. My original spot, I can't put them there anymore. So I got 500 strawberries, 75 raspberries. Will be going in a place to be determined. And then also same thing with my herbs. If you can follow my mouse, I have 5 different herb beds that I want to put. Again, I don't know where they're going to go. Maybe I'll do some raised beds. Each raised bed will be one type of herb. We'll see. So anyway, let's zoom in here a bit. Hopefully you can follow this. I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. These first 4 yellow rows are potatoes. 400 feet, 100 feet rows each. I guess I'll first start off backing up. These purple, or maybe they look blue on your screen, these purple lines indicate the tire marks of my tractor. I'm trying to do as much tractor work as I can this year. Hopefully I can do some tractor cultivation to really cut down on the time that I got to spend weeding in the garden, plus to keep things a little bit more uniform. So anyway, these are all 5 feet apart, and that's center to center of my tractor tires. So anyway, the first section, if you will be 200 feet rows of potatoes. Down here, 2 more 100 feet rows of potatoes. I do have 100 pounds of seed potatoes I bought, and that probably is a little too much for 400 feet, because that basically means that I'm putting a pound of potatoes every 4 feet, and I think it's more closer to 8 or 10 feet per pound. We'll see. If I have extras, I can always put them somewhere else. Alright, down here, let's zoom in one bit here. Hopefully you can see this. Okay, here, the third section down. I'll go down the left side, then I'll go to the right. These are my 2 tomato rows. I'm looking to get roughly 60 tomato plants, various types. The next section down, peppers. I'm looking here, this section will hold probably around 60 as well, and then I have a small section down here for peppers. Also next to the pepper row will be my eggplant. All these things here are all your, I think it's the Solanaceae family, nightshade family, which is why they're all in yellow. Each different family type is indicated by a different color. This way, when I know if I plant all these together this year, next year I can't plant any of those in this area. So instead of scattering things all over the garden, if I can try to keep certain things blocked, it might work out better. But anyway, alright, now I have, zoom in one bit yet, you get the idea. Each of these rows are roughly 50 feet long on this section. So we go down from the eggplant and peppers, we have a row of kale, and I have 2 rows of leaf lettuce, various types, 2 rows of arugula. The next section down I have a row of mizuna, which is a spicy-ish Asian type of green. I have 2 rows of mustard green, and I have a short row of bok choy. I have a few seeds someone sent me, so I'll try those out. Kind of excited. They look kind of neat when they grow, or once they're mature. And then I have a row here, a shorter row, and a longer row of spinach. We continue down, still sticking with the 50-foot sections. I have 4 rows of radishes. Now you may say 4 rows of radishes and 1 row of spinach, all within a 5-foot width space. That may be a little too much. Same thing with these greens. Maybe 1 foot apart or 18 inches apart. Spacing of these might be too little. I won't know until I actually seed them and they come up. If they are too close together, I could always remove one of these rows and then try to plant my greens somewhere else. You know, I'm trying to maximize the amount of crops I can put into a certain area, because I'm limited at this point of my areas. In another video I'll do in the spring, I'll show you where I want to put new beds and hopefully be able to have a subsoil or a middle buster to help alleviate some of the water. But that's not for another 2 months or so. Alright, anyway, before we go down to the other crops, we'll just slide over. Alright, here, the majority of these rows are all around 70 feet, give or take. I want to leave a little bit of a gap here to walk. But anyway, starting at the top, I got 5 rows, actually 3 rows and 2 shorter rows, which equal 4 70-foot row of onions. As you watch my other videos, you'll see I'm growing onions from seed as well as leeks. Leeks will go in here as well. From seed, and depending on how they work out, I may or may not do that next year. However, I will be buying onion sets or onion bulbs, whatever you want to call them, to fill in these rows. I like onions. I cook with them at least once or twice a week. You know, they store really well. I'll chop some up, put them in the freezer, done deal. And also, again, real quick, I'm doing my CSA this year. I don't have any customers yet. I haven't sent out my letter. I think it's still a little too early. But I feel the more storage crops that I can have towards the late end of the fall and even into the winter a little bit, the longer I can extend my so-called season, if you will, without having any type of greenhouse that's yet to be erected or even bought or even gotten permits for. But anyway, if I can have storage crops, that will definitely help get more value for what someone pays. So anyway, rows of onions. Here I got six 70 feet rows of carrots. That's a lot of carrots. And again, real quick, the amount of rows that I have in the length are all based on, the amount of seeds that I currently have in my possession. Again, the seeds I have use my earthquake planter. I might only get 4 rows or 5 rows of carrot, and if I do, well, then that leaves room for something else. But this is the best planning I can do with what I have. Anyway, down here I got 4 rows of beets, and these here are 4 rows of snap beans. I got yellow and green. These are going to be my spring beans, and then once summer hits, I'm not going to have beans anymore, and I'll get into my pole beans a little bit later. Here I got 3 rows of Swiss chard. I got the Kaleidoscope Mix, which is various colors, various harvest dates, etc., but a very prolific grower, if last year's any indication. Alright, now I'm going to zoom out here a little bit to get this all in one shot. Here I got 2 rows, 50 plants, broccoli, 50 cauliflower, 75 feet each. Here's 2 short rows of cabbage. I'm not a huge cabbage grower or, even into cabbages, but I have a few seeds, and if they germinate and they get plants, then I'll grow them next year. And here I got probably something like, I don't know, close to 90 or 100 feet of my summer squash, your zucchini, your crooknecks, etc. Now the remaining couple rows here, I'll zoom in a bit so you can see it. These 2 rows here are peas. These will be all trellis, these next 3 sections. I got your sugar snap peas as well as some shell peas I'll be trying this year. The shell peas won't be trellis, by the way, they're just a bush type. Down here I got my pole beans, which will be planted probably 3 to 4 weeks after I plant everything else, because I want them for the fall. And then again, that's 300 feet total. I will be planting the Blue Lake stringless, which I planted last year, and I had decent results with the conditions I had. So this year I'm hoping will be a lot better. And anyway, guys, I got a 150-foot row of cucumber. I got various types, and I'm looking forward to seeing, the different slices, the slicers, English, pickling, etc. that I have to try out this year. Alright, down here, I'll just zoom out real quick. I got 10 100-foot row of sweet corn. So that's 1,000 feet. Last year I did 600 feet. The corn grew, kind of. Weeds took it over. I got nothing out of it. I don't even have 1 cob that formed, or a plant that got over 4 feet, by the way. But anyway, better soil this year, better planting, better everything, I hope, and hopefully I get a good stand of corn. And my beds or my garden is a little bit of an angle. I may try to fix that this year, but probably not, because the way it's set works out as far as the water draining and stuff. But anyway, down at the bottom I'll be planting some gourds as well as some pumpkins. And we slide over here to the last section. I got more pumpkins here. I got 2 rows. These are roughly 50-foot rows of watermelon, 2 of cantaloupe, 2 of winter squash. So that's my garden plan for this year. Questions, comments are appreciated, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. Thanks.